Perfectionism is the denial of two universal truths. The first being that we are not perfect, and the second is that we are not in control. We're diving deep into a topic that's both ancient and urgently present: perfectionism and how it separates us from our inner light, and the liberating wisdom of living from our own wholeness right here in the moment. We'll also draw out connections with Gnosticism and that deeper, perhaps hidden stream of truth within all of us. Perfectionism is like playing a game where the goalposts keep moving further away just as you're about to score. You keep running faster, trying harder, and stretching yourself thinner, only to realize that you were chasing someone else's rules all along. Let's start at the roots. Looking all the way back to the early 13th century, perfection meant a consummate, finished state. Something so excellent that nothing was lacking, nothing left to desire. It was about flawlessness, completion. But as the centuries rolled on, perfectionism shifted into something more: a relentless urge for flawlessness, correctness, for achieving some outer standard set by invisible authorities. Here's the kicker. In our culture, perfectionism becomes a tool of power over. We internalize the idea that we have to prove our worth by performing, by living up to someone else's idea of perfect action. Standards get set outside of us and we start dancing to their tune. We're told the rules, we're graded, measured, always aiming for the bar that keeps moving just out of reach. It permeates systems of achievement, the workplace, religion. Almost everything is rigged to constantly pull us outside of ourselves for validation. So what happens? We slowly start to negate our own inner truths. The search for self-worth gets wrapped up in a never-ending chase for approval and flawless performance, always determined by someone or something else. Even as we begin our spiritual journeys and start trusting ourselves a little more, those ingrained habits of judgment, the old right and wrong, good and bad mindset can keep us trapped, living outside in. But what if there's another way? As we awaken and peel back these layers, something transformational begins to happen. We rediscover discernment. Unlike judgment, which is harsh and external, discernment is about witnessing what's true for us in each living moment. It's subtle but profound, a felt sense, a resonance, an inner alignment. Instead of asking, am I perfect? We start to ask, am I complete right now? When we let go of perfectionism as some external finish line, we step into participation with life that is whole, balanced, and authentic. We become the authority of our own experience, finding completion in the present, even when things are messy or unfinished on the outside. So here are the questions that become our new compass. What do I want truly? How do I begin now? What's my next step? Am I complete in this experience, in this moment? When judgment drags us out of presence, we can gently come back to these questions, back to ourselves. The difference is subtle but life-changing. Here's a simple example. Let's say you bought a course because a friend insisted it would change your life. You started, but then got busy or distracted by another book or podcast. Guilt whispers, I spent the money, I should finish. But if you pause and ask, am I complete with this right now? The experience stops being a test of failure or worth, it just becomes an experience, not another metric to judge yourself by. This shift, this move from outward striving to inward knowing, has deep roots in the history of spiritual wisdom. In ancient times, this was known as gnosis. The word gnosis simply means knowledge, but in Gnostic traditions, it carries a far deeper meaning. It's the intuitive, experiential knowledge of the soul, the direct knowing of our spiritual essence. Gnostics understood that true liberation wasn't about following commandments and dogmas set by institutions, but about discovering the divine spark within ourselves, an inner truth found in lived experience and contemplation. Contrast this with the outward focus of, say, the 10 Commandments of Christianity, which for millennia have drawn lines between inner and outer truth, between personal knowing and external authority. Much of what we call religious truth was actually a way of placing authority outside the individual, of hiding the deeper, direct knowing that is available to each of us. As we reclaim our birthright of gnosis, we step into a very old and very radical way of being. It is not new, It is ancient wisdom that's simply been forgotten or hidden just below the surface. In the Gnostic texts like the Gospel of Philip, we see a completely different map for awakening. The focus is on inner knowledge, not just faith or ritual. The kingdom of God is not some future place, but an awakening within, a recognition that the light of Christ or the divine spark lives in every person. True transformation is not about perfect behavior or future salvation. It's about finding resurrection and newness of life within while we're still alive. One of the most beautiful teachings ascribed to Jesus in these texts is, I am the light that is of all. I am everything. Everything has come out of me, and everything has returned to me. Cut a tree, I am there. Lift up a stone, and you will find me there. This is an invitation beyond dogma and duality. It's a call to recognize that inner light, something the Gospel of John echoes. There was the true light, which gives light to every man who comes into the world. Ironically, as faith became institutionalized, this inner way was often suppressed. The experience of God as directly knowable was sidelined, replaced with belief in outward forms. Carl Jung warned us that if religion is just faith and belief in stories, but doesn't touch our souls and awaken us from within, then nothing of any importance has happened. So, what's the antidote? It's coming home to ourselves, feeling complete in the moment, being present to our truth, our balance, not someone else's version of perfection. Myths, as Jung also said, become dead if we stop living in relationship with them, if they no longer grow and give us answers from within. So as we move forward, we're called to become spiritual adults, responsible for our own relationship with divine reality, yet humble in the vastness of what we cannot know. We discover not just ancient wisdom, but a way of living that transforms both ourselves and our world. We become participants, not subjects, whole, not perfect. Remember, every soul is a unique perspective of creation. Our journey isn't about meeting a standard of perfection set by others, but about cultivating ever deeper levels of discernment and presence, refining our truth from the inside out, moment by moment. The paradox, of course, is that the more we surrender the quest for perfection, the more whole and complete we become right here, right now, testing point when life seems to be conspiring against you. In these moments, it's perfectly normal to find yourself drifting slowly into an external locus of control. Ask these questions to reclaim your internal locus. What part of this situation is within my control? What's one tiny action I can take right now? If my best friend were facing this, what advice would I give them? How would my ideal self show up in this moment? You're going to fail. It's going to hurt. You're going to feel lost. You're going to feel confused. You're going to feel betrayed, complaining, blaming, pointing fingers. None of it will get you anywhere worth going. You are in control of everything. It's all on you. Nobody is coming to save you, but you are entirely capable of climbing back all on your own, of doing hard things, of figuring it out, of meeting your responsibilities with energy and enthusiasm, of squeezing everything you want out of this life. You are at the wheel. Never let go. Thanks for listening. If this episode sparked something in you, I invite you to pause for a moment. Breathe and ask yourself, not am I perfect, but am I complete in this moment? There's your answer.